What's up, everybody? Welcome to the What's Your Rub live show. How we doing tonight?
What up, buddy? Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday to you, too. For those that don't know out there, Dave and I share the same birthday.
Yeah.
Same birthday. 1 year apart.
To the day.
To the day. That's right. That's right. You know, I heard only legends are born on February 6th.
Yeah, Matt Griner from Southern Q. I saw the day that he's got a birthday today too. So
yeah,
pretty good company.
If we'd have known ahead of time, we could have had him pop in on here tonight.
Next year. Yeah,
that's right.
For sure.
That's
There's
right.
a goal.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure he's a good dude. We'll get him on here. No doubt about it.
Yeah, he's Team Royal Oak too, all the way. So that's
awesome.
That's the thing about these, man, that Heath Riles deal, you know, it's got these come with private groups and you get to shoot back and forth with these guys. So we're getting on the map.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, man. It's exciting. Man, we've got a good show tonight. Got a little Prairie Fresh love coming in. I got a new background.
Oh, yeah. Look at it.
Upgrading the studio a little bit.
Very
nice. Things happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Sarah says happy birthday to the both of us. So does Jacob.
Yeah.
Kyle. Donnie's in the house.
Right on. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Absolutely. So,
man, I tell you what. I was going to say, speaking of Prairie Fresh, just in the birthday spirit, backwards here, got my hoodie in the mail today. This was for the Grand Champ and Rib Call over there a couple weeks back. So
nice.
Talk about timing.
Yeah, good timing. Good timing for sure.
Yeah, man.
For sure. Well, I tell you what, we got our 50 on YouTube, man. So appreciate everybody that made the push for that. That was awesome. We had a lot of shares. We got to our 50. I didn't get it in time to try to get all that set up tonight. I wasn't going to mess with it, but we will definitely get that moving for the future. And we appreciate everybody that jumped on there and subscribed. If you haven't, you still can. We're going to start putting all these live shows on there for sure. And when we go to the events, trying to jump on there, do some streaming from the events, maybe show some behind the scenes things. So it's going to be awesome. Yep. Follow us on YouTube. New studio doing its thing. We appreciate it. Yeah.
StreamYard, killer platform.
That's right, man. That's right. Our syndicate group, last I checked, right before we jumped on, we're at 993 people in that group. So if you were not in that group, be sure to jump on. If you are in that group, invite some people. Let's break that thousand mark while we're on the show tonight. That would be awesome.
We need to see if I'll send a bottle of sauce to the 1,000th like. How about that? We'll figure it out, but I'll get some sauce in the mail for number 1,000. Awesome.
Number 1,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we didn't know till just a few minutes ago, but Prairie Fresh is putting us together a little prize package. So we will have that ready, figure out what it is, and put something together for the next show, get that going. But we will have another giveaway courtesy of Prairie Fresh. We'll let Dave talk about that here in a few minutes when he joins us. But let's see. What'd your mom say? Interesting fact. Big Mike's cousin and I share a birthday 1 year apart exactly.
I don't even think that. I do. I always called her my aunt. It's my Aunt Deanna. They say cousin, it throws me off.
Yeah.
Because
That's cool. That's cool for sure. Yeah. I don't know that I have actually met or ran into anybody else in my life that shared my same birthday. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Cool, I can remember one kid when I was in grade school, by like second grade. But after that, nothing.
Right. Yeah. So I got to open my my present from Mr. Donnie this morning, and I'm sipping on a little bit of it.
Okay.
So got a little bottle of bullet from him, a little rye.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Well, I got fed very well by everybody. I got some knives, stuff like that. So they know me. It was a barbecue birthday for sure.
That's right. Yeah, Donnie got me a little knife set, fish filleting kind of set to take out on the boat with us. So that was cool. And then Sarah and Willow made me a cake last night and put together, a killer dinner tonight. Bone-in pork chops and baked potatoes, stuffed mushroom caps. It was it was awesome, man. So
we did the it was Wagyu burgers, just straight up American cheese and waffle fries out here. But that's how I do. So that's
right.
what
That's
cake
awesome.
is after the show. I mean, we ran it all the way up. I was like, stuff to do,
Yeah. No, we ran dinner just a few minutes ago, and I was like, I can't do the cake. I got to digest. Got to let it settle just a little bit. So
for sure.
Yeah, but it was good stuff, and good to be another year older, man. It's good things happening this year, 2023. I'm looking forward to everything we got going on with the show and the series and the events and all that stuff. I think it's going to be a great year.
Yeah, man, I agree. Really, it's been rough, and I think everybody's been through it. I mean, there's so many stories out there over the last few years. I mean, everywhere, everybody, everybody's got stuff right now. And hopefully everybody else is having a good year and it's off to a good start. I think 2023 could be really positive.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad to see some events coming back. I know we've seen some drop off the schedule, man. We've seen quite a few big events drop off the schedule. So I am excited the season's coming back up. And, we were talking about Lebanon, Tennessee a little bit earlier and our setup down there. I'm excited to go down there. It looks like we're going to have some company. So that's cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I was saying that too. I thought maybe I was talking to you, but I was, at the beginning, we were just, 10 podcasts in? So let's say 10 weeks ago, 8 to 10 weeks ago, we were talking about the lack of events. And right now, I'm at a holding pattern. I'm at like 19 events on the schedule, man. Yeah. And ton local.
Right.
And there's still a lot more that I know I want to add to it. So we're just kind of in a holding pattern. So I'm stoked to see that. Even though we're losing them, there's some good ones coming on, new ones, and some old ones. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I see David's jumped in here. You want to bring him on? We can bring him on out here. Just a few minutes earlier.
If he's ready, let's go.
Yeah, let's get him in.
I can't wait to hear what he's got to say. There he is.
There he is, the man. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing well. Happy birthday to y'all.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. So, man, I tell you what, I know we didn't get that background information to the last segment, but I just want to touch on something before we jump into this whole thing. So you were 2019 National Pie Champion. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
So I love food sport. I don't compete in barbecue, but I compete in pie baking and won the national championship in 2019. I like to joke I'm the longest reigning national champion because we haven't had a championship since then because of the pandemic. So,
nice.
So that's what I do for fun on the side. And occasionally a team, twists my arm and I'll help them do their dessert categories. Haven't had success in the barbecue world, but it's one of my fun things. It's a relaxing thing for me to do. So
I was going to tell you, man, Franklin, Indiana, in June this year, Hoosier Barbecue Classic. They've got a dessert category, so we're all going to be there. If you want to join us, you are welcome to come out and throw a pie together. I would love that.
You could cook for me, bro. Just come on over to my trailer. You can for sure cook for us.
That's right.
Yeah, you were just at the World Championship too, right?
Yeah. So because I won the national championships in 2019, I qualified for World Food Championships and made top 10 that year. Have not done as well since then, but have qualified every year, and I'm going to do it again this year in 2023. I've already entered and paid my entry fees, so I'm committed to it. So.
Yeah, what a stage, man. Yeah, that's cool.
For sure. I mean, when you get to that level, I mean, just qualifying, I mean, that's an honor among that kind of caliber of people and that sort of thing. So man, that's awesome for sure.
And a lot of barbecue pit folks there. There's even barbecue folks in the dessert category, but it's interesting how some of my personal things have collided with my work, my fun part of my work, at least in the barbecue side. So it's very similar to barbecue competition in the sense that everyone's cheering for each other and helping each other out. It's a great time.
Right. That's awesome, man. Well, I tell you what, man, I just want to be the first on this show to say thank you for everything that Prairie Fresh does for the teams, man. It's really cool that you guys get involved at an amateur level. For some of these teams and some of these people, I had the honor of being on the honor roll a couple times myself. And I mean, it's just a really cool experience. Super responsive on everything. The swag pack at the beginning of the year has been killer. I know Dave's repping that hoodie he said he got from that last win, came in the mail today. So,
and that was just that what I turned that in like last Monday, I think, so the turnaround, it's killer.
Yeah. So we just want to first off say that we appreciate everything that you guys are doing, kind of for this sport and not necessarily always at a pro level. We see a lot of those sponsorships, that are just for the professionals. So the engagement with the backyard teams and the new teams that are getting in and getting their feet wet and that sort of thing, man, we really appreciate it, obviously.
Well, we're glad to do it. And that was one of our things when we started designing. We wanted to get everyone, involved in barbecue and recognize that sometimes, especially like the backyard series, that they don't get the recognition. And we know it's an accomplishment too, and include everyone in it. And so that's why we just kind of open up our arms and say everyone's welcome to be part of the pit crew.
Yeah. No, that's killer. Well, tell us a little bit about your products, man. I know. So when I moved, I'm in northern Indiana now. I came from just outside of Louisville, Kentucky, in southern Indiana originally, and kind of in that area, it seemed to be a little bit more Smithfield land. And now that I'm up in northern Indiana, I mean, your all stuff is available at the Walmart down the street. They always carry a good supply. I mean, anytime I want to go in there, I can get a good selection of natural ribs, pork butts, right there on the shelf. And that's killer because that's what we've been using since the beginning. I have tried some of the quote unquote fancier Duroc rib stuff. And to be honest with you, I didn't personally like it as much. It didn't turn out for me. And then I always end up back circling back to the Prairie Fresh stuff. And that's where I've had my luck and my success. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about, I know there's kind of a story there with your all's process and kind of got a farm to table kind of mentality when it comes to everything that you guys do.
Yeah. So, I mean, Prairie Fresh has been around for a while, but we really started pushing the brand here 4 or 5 years ago and building out the brand. But one of the key things from the very beginning, so you may have seen, especially if you happen to go to a butcher shop or something, the Seaboard Farms box. So that's what our products are in. So Seaboard Foods is technically the marketing entity and company that's selling Prairie Fresh, but when it goes out to the public, it's under the Prairie Fresh name. And we really built the model starting in the early 1990s. Actually opened up the first processing plant in 1996. But it was all about consistency and quality. And so to do that, we realized that we needed to control the entire process. So our model is, it starts actually before the farm. We're at the genetics level, selecting a crossbred market hog that is actually our basis for all the Prairie Fresh products you see out there in the store shelves. And from that, then control the way we care for the animals, the nutrition that the animals receive. And even from the processing plant, we're the first to introduce some cutting edge technology that happened in processing. We're seeing more and more companies duplicate what we do, which is always, we say that's a compliment when people start trying to replicate what you're doing with your system.
Absolutely.
So that is part of it. We are the largest American owned farms pork production system in the United States. And so we have farms. There's the Seaboard Foods actually has farms, but then we have 5 producer groups. They're part of our connected food system is the way that we talk about it. We'll be launching here, give you all a little teaser of what some of our new marketing campaigns are going to be. We're going to start calling that the Prairie Fresh Way to talk about our connected food system. And that'll start hitting trade publications here in about a month. And it's an easy way for us to talk about everything from the farm to your table and the steps that we take to focus on quality, but more importantly, consistent quality. I think you see it probably in the Walmart products that you buy. There may be, like on the ribs, a little bit wider range because at retail, sometimes there are in the weights, but you can still get really good quality product at Walmart. And that's a relatively new customer for us. We've sold to Walmart for years, but through the center part of the United States, basically from Minnesota to Colorado to Texas, all the way over to Indiana, you're going to find Prairie Fresh Natural in the Walmart stores there.
Yeah. Well, you were talking about breeds and stuff too. You know, when Charles brought up Duroc, and it made me think of the other show I saw. You guys are, and you were talking about hybrids just now. That's a Duroc and Landrace, wasn't it what you said you guys kind of have? So I
Yeah.
think you're talking about the quality that you see there in the Walmart store, and you're actually getting Duroc pork. You really are. I mean, some of the natural has marbling that's just right up there with the prime, for sure.
Yeah, so our sire lines are the male side of our crossbred hog. There are Duroc or Duroc influence sire lines, and then on the dam or the mother side, it's a large white and a landrace crossbred female. So that's the makeup of all of our market hogs that are branded under Prairie Fresh. So you're getting the meat quality characteristics from the Duroc, which is really known for its flavor, especially the marbling within the animal itself and the carcass. And that's something that the pork industry, you know, I'm old enough that I remember Pork the Other White Meat as a campaign. And the industry 30 some years ago really tried to compete with chicken and get it really super lean. And that hurt the product. And we're bringing marbling back into it so that people have a great eating experience. Or if you're out there in the competition world, you're going to have something that's really tender and juicy and it has the flavor that, you know, as a kid, I knew pork to have. It's coming back. And so that's why we pay so much attention to those genetic lines to make sure meat quality, you know, we're focused on meeting the expectations of our customers and consumers. And so that's why we do many of the things that we do on the farm side as well on the processing side that by themselves may not make so much sense. But when you look at it as a complete system, we're not looking at one aspect. We're looking at what the final product's going to be and make decisions based on that.
Gotcha. Well, and I want to touch on something. I see you got your banner there in the back that says USA Prime. So that is something that comes up actually quite often, and I kind of wanted to see about having you touch on that today. So we know in the beef world, USDA has different grades and that sort of thing to define the different levels, but it's different on the pork side, is my understanding. So can you kind of touch on that a little bit and how you all determine what falls under a prime label versus the natural? And
Sure. So that's a new product line for us. It's been out about a little over 2 years. And as you mentioned, USDA doesn't have grading standards like they do in beef, or select, choice, and prime. So pork is pork, kind of when you're out there marketing it. They do allow us to use the word prime in a trademark name. So I will be official in saying that we are making no claims towards grading terms regarding USDA. It's strictly a brand name, but it's a way that we have identified our highest quality pork. So we developed a system. It's a proprietary system that actually measures the marbling or the intramuscular fat of the carcass before we even break it down. Right after we go through the harvest process, and those animals will typically, you know, you'll look in the range. The loin eye will have a 3.5 and above marbling score, which is a high marbling score. So the pork board does have marbling scores and color scores for us to match up for. But those are not grades, but that's where our standard is. So if a carcass doesn't make it, it goes back into the general population. So when you'll see us talk a lot about, we say it's the best of our best. I mean, we think all Prairie Fresh pork products are high quality, but we really are out there selecting, and you know, it's a highly marbled product. In the competition world, especially in the butts, really love the product, and because I've seen money muscles that teams have sent me photos, and if I hadn't actually seen that in real life myself, I would have sworn that they photoshopped them. That's how unbelievably marbled they are.
Right. Well, and the color thing, so you touched on the color as part of your all's kind of scoring system. Yep. I have noticed just in, you know, being at the store and looking through packages of stuff myself, that sometimes with pork, you can see a pretty big difference in kind of the pink versus the whiter shades of pork. So if you were going to the store, you were in our shoes, you're doing competition, other than the marbling, when you look at the coloring, what are you looking for exactly? And what does those colors indicate?
Yeah, so you want a reddish pink, but not a dark, like red color to it, and I'll get into why that is. So that reddish pink actually has to do with the way that the light's reflecting off of the meat. So a little bit redder means that it has a higher moisture holding capacity to it. So you're going to get a more tender product. The really light side, the stuff, and that's something we've had to train consumers on because of some of the past campaigns that the industry did. When you think about white meat, you want to go to the light. Well, you're going to have a bad eating experience because it's going to be tough and dry when you cook it. Also, sometimes in that color score, that also the pale, will also mean that it's a soft and mushy texture as well. So that reddish pink's going to give you the biggest, texture, water holding, past juiciness, all the things you want about pork. And a lot of that color is actually set not only between the feed ingredients and the genetics we use, but what happens within processing. And so immediately after harvesting, and we go and put those carcasses in a snap chill because we're trying to set the pH level. And that impacts sometimes the water holding capacity as well, which then impacts color, all the attributes that are associated with it. But on the other hand, you don't want something that's really, really dark because that'll be what they call a dry type of pork, which also will be tough. So you want it somewhere in that middle reddish pink color.
Gotcha.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's good info to have for sure.
Everybody just leveled up right there.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Everybody in here that's watching this video, next time they go to do pork selections, definitely going to be paying more attention to that for sure. So that's interesting. So is there a reason why, there's not an official kind of grading deal like there is with beef or pork? Is there a reason why it's not graded out the same way? Or, obviously it can't be the same way because it's a different meat, but it seems like there would be a system in place for that.
Yeah, and it's been a while since I've studied that. Part of it is to the way that processing happens within a beef plant versus a pork processing plant. They're designed obviously to have a grading selection when they go check the ribeye on it versus, pork processing. It's a whole lot faster pace the way the carcasses come through. But we've obviously figured out how to do that. There's some automation that segregates those carcasses once they're identified through our process. They get railed off and go into actually another quick chill or an equilibrium bay where they're chilled overnight before they're actually processed. And I think too, it's the quality attributes because of what pork has been through the past several years. I think there was probably some reluctance on the industry for a while to actually try to identify what some of the good things and maybe more of the bad things that happen. Right. But the industry is shifting back, and we're seeing, a much better eating experience for all brands of pork.
Yeah, no. All right. And then, one other thing that you talked about that I just want to touch on. So for my competition stuff, I get my chicken from a very specific farm, privately owned farm that's in Southern Indiana. And they have talked a lot to me about the feed and how they kind of design and change their feed for their poultry. And I have noticed that seems to have a big impact on the flavor, which is why I use what they have there. So you want to talk about that a little bit? You did talk about your kind of specialty feed and maybe how that makes a difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have actually up to 14 different diets of the animal's life cycle. And there's a reason why early on, they're trying to get nutrients for growth. But then as it moves farther along in that life cycle, we're really focused on meat quality. And so there are, we get frequently asked by consumers if our pigs are fed vegetarian diets. And the answer is no. And I don't think most consumers know why they're asking that. They've just seen someone talk about it. And it really went back to BSE within beef and using meat and bone meal from bovine, animals. So we don't use any bovine meat meal, but we do use some animal byproducts within our rations. And the biggest is basically beef tallow or choice white grease. And that has to do with setting the iodine value in the carcass. So we have a very specific window that we're trying to hit with that iodine value within the carcass. And the reason why is because that has to do, especially in the pork belly, the firmness of the fat, but it's also throughout the entire carcass. So that has to do with mouthfeel, and also you may have had sometime a butt that's just kind of loose and really difficult to work with. I mean, they're all a little bit like that, but it has to do with setting that firmness of the fat, which then also impacts flavor as well. So we primarily feed, it primarily is a grain-based diet. So depending on the part of the country and what's available, because we do have operations like in western Kansas and the Oklahoma Panhandle. That's actually one of our pork processing plants. Our first one is actually in the Guymon, Oklahoma, which is in the Panhandle, Oklahoma. So sometimes we will feed grain sorghum, but then there's soybean meal, and then there's multiple vitamins and minerals that go into the rations themselves too. Plus, then as it progresses closer to harvest time, you're going to find some of those fats, those animal-based fats, the beef tallow in there to set the iodine values within the carcass.
Yeah, that's interesting. So that's one of the things when I'm picking my competition meat out that I do is I kind of feel for some flexibility in there, and you don't want it too soft, but you definitely don't want it too stiff. And I mean, I'm learning something right now because I never knew what the reasoning was for that, but I always knew there was kind of a certain feel that I was going for. It's interesting that you mentioned pork belly because our series that we're doing this year does not limit us just to a pork butt like a conventional competition does. So we can use pork belly or tenderloins or, regular loins or whatever the case is in our turn-in boxes. So anything other than since we've got a rib category, you can't turn ribs in twice. So you can't use pork ribs in the pork turn-in, and we can't use sausage just because of the other ingredients. But otherwise, it is pretty much an open window. So any pork products can be turned in. And I'm very interested to see what the teams do with that this year and kind of step away from that conventional pork butt, money muscle deal and incorporate some of these things.
I think you're going to see a lot of pork belly. I think that's just my bet, and I'm willing, me personally, and the secret will be out after the first one, but I'm keeping it pretty traditional. But I can see some burn-ins in my box.
Yeah. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to have pork belly on that smoker. So
we'll see how let me know when you're doing it. I'll be over for the comp.
Yeah. Now we'll see how it turns out. I'm not saying I won't have the traditional stuff going as well, but I think the pork belly is kind of like the burn-ins on the brisket side. If you nail them, man, it is hard to beat that.
It is.
So I'm excited to see what the teams do with that this year. It's gonna be good stuff for sure.
That's kind of something. So pork belly is one of the things that we've talked about. It's kind of harder to get around here, and so also in that, what advice would you have for people in Indiana? Because like Charles was mentioning, you guys are getting some good coverage here. We've got it in Bloomington too, but if I go to Martinsville or Linton, it's hit or miss. Should they reach out to Walmart and request, try to, do what we can locally?
Yeah, and too, don't hesitate to go to your local supermarket too, and depending on who distributes them, it may be available there too. So we love it actually when someone goes into a local supermarket and says, "Hey, I want Prairie Fresh. I can't find it here."
There you go, guys.
That just helps us, push it through. We like to come from both ways, pull it through and push it through, and help our distribution. And so, a great place to start at too to look for it is, we have a store locator that we launched November, December on our website at prairiefresh.com.
Does that have Prime too on that?
It'll have Prime listed on it too. Prime is a lot more difficult to find because we have a limited amount that's produced every day. At the plants, we only have two. We have 3 processing plants. Only 2 of them are actually producing Prairie Fresh USA Prime right now, but the other one will be coming up here later this spring, the 3rd one, which will help with availability of that product as well. But we started with one, validated it, then when we were also testing to see if there was going to be any demand for that product, which kind of blew us out of the water. There was a lot more demand than we even projected for it. But then, it takes special equipment that goes into the plant to do that measurement, in addition to our calculations that are predicting it. And then we go through a 4 to 5 month process once we get the equipment in there. So technically they're probably producing Prairie Fresh USA Prime. We just aren't labeling it that right now to make sure that
explains that occasional rack that I run across at Walmart. That looks amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, and that answers Kyle Winkler was asking, how do you go about getting prime cuts and butts? So, right now, before that happens, like other than using the locator, anybody specifically, and I would ask the same thing about the pork belly. So I can't say that I've ever seen Prairie Fresh pork belly in store anywhere, but is there any major retailers that stock that, or?
So the pork belly, we technically do not have a retail package in the pork belly, so most of it goes through food service. So it's a little bit harder to find, or sometimes it might be in a plain bag. The Prairie Fresh USA Prime, we will have stores on our locator too. There's a few meat stores that sell it. I mean, we have several barbecue stores that actually carry it. None in your area that I know of, I can recall. But a couple of them do have mail order capability, but a lot of them don't. The ones that come to mind, Barbecue All Stars Melissa Cookson's store will ship it out. The butcher shop out of Pensacola will actually will ship it out too. So those are the two that I know for sure.
I think Red Raider in Texas.
Yeah, they will ship it out too.
Yeah, I think so.
And I know I came through St. Louis a few months ago for some work stuff and stopped in at St. Louis Barbecue Store. I know they don't ship, but they have a pretty good selection there of all the prime products on hand. Yeah. So, and I say that they probably would ship if you reached out to them, but I know it's not something that they're really set up to do in mass production. So I don't think they advertise that, but yeah, it's interesting to know. So the pork belly, would that be something? I mean, you'd have to get like through Cisco or maybe Restaurant Depot would
occasionally Restaurant Depot. We have the western half of Restaurant Depots and some in the eastern part. I'm trying to remember if that's a regular stock item for them or not. But the food service distributor lines are probably your best bet if you have a connection there to see if they can get it.
Would that be under Seaboard?
It'd be under Seaboard label typically. We do have a Prairie Fresh USA Prime pork belly, though, that's in food service.
Oh, nice.
Gotcha.
Well, I remember that's what I saw Seaboard early, and I knew that's how I knew I was getting Prairie Fresh before it was at Walmart. I could get it from like Troyer's, and sometimes Sam's Club would get it. It would just say Seaboard, you know.
Sam's Club is a major customer, but they buy all private label, so it's plain bag.
Because they repackage it as their own. Yeah, and they do that with a lot. Like a lot of people don't know their nacho cheese, the Members Mark. We use that on the food truck a lot. That's actually Kraft cheese. So, and I can't get it anywhere but Sam's Club. So, and our customers know the difference. But so that makes sense. That's good to know. When you when you're at Sam's Club, if you're getting Seaboard, at least then you know.
Yeah, you can always ask the back of that, the meat department what it is. If it's still in the package, you can look for our establishment numbers, which put me on the spot here and see if I can remember them off the top of my head or not.
Well, we would buy it by the case for the truck back in the day, and that's what I'd get, the whole box. Yeah. Is the only way I would know.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, anything new for 2023 that you guys have got coming down the pipeline? Maybe a little sneak peek of something that you haven't announced
already
yet,
told us. Yeah, you already give us one pretty good one there.
Yeah. So this is going to be a challenging year for the pork industry overall. So we're really focused on expanding Prairie Fresh USA Prime. That's where a lot of our efforts are. We also may not know this, but we have a company called Daly's Premium Meats. It's a bacon producing company. So we actually have taken over the sales and marketing for that entity itself. So we're doing a lot of bacon things this year too. And that's available. That is food service and retail products as well. Although Prairie Fresh USA Prime does have its own branded bacon too. You might find that in some stores too. That's really just a compliment, especially those retailers that are carrying Prairie Fresh USA Prime to give them a high, a premium line of bacon to complement all the fresh products. So we are continuing the honor roll again this year. And I know a lot of your members in contests, we see a lot of entries in there. We are always excited to see that as well. We'll be sending out some opportunities for Prairie Fresh swag here probably the end of the month. I've just been looking at designs actually today. So
Yeah,
we always
awesome.
talk. That's what we've talked about. I mean, that's just second to none, man. Everybody, I know our whole camp. This hoodie, I don't mean to rub it in, but just a little bit. This thing is nice, man. It's like that nice stretchy material. Like everything's always top shelf. Richardson hats, like it's just been awesome, man. We've been on. I think this is our. We did it start in 2020. Was that the first year?
Yeah, and that was a weird year to start it. We didn't have any idea really what was going to happen with it. We're like, is anyone even going to, we had to have a contest first before we even knew. And
boom.
But it's really taken off gangbusters. We had 639 inductions into the honor roll in 2022.
Wow. Well, I know you see those, you always see, barbecue guys have the infamous sticker doors, you know what I mean? Just like, and you always see those proudly on display, especially the each year honor roll. There's the one special sticker, like you just sent out around Christmas. That was, those are as good as any trophy you can get to a lot of guys. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We definitely appreciate everyone that goes out there and spreads the word about Prairie Fresh. So that's why we like to, we try to give it a lot of thought and open ideas on the way we, the things that we're offering. We've changed it a little bit. Budgets always come into play. Sometimes when you're so successful, you have to make adjustments. Yeah. But I think we still have really nice prize packages available, and some carryovers from last year. So those early people can still get a few things from last year as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Dave's saying, it's all high quality stuff. I mean, I've got the wagon, man. I've never had a pull behind wagon like that outside of the one my daughter had when she was little, and that thing is, I'm telling you, it is stout, man. I have used it for camping. I've stacked that thing full of camping firewood and hauled it in and out. I mean, it's all good quality stuff. So, but yeah, and we also, this comes from all of us. We appreciate you recognizing kind of, Kentuckiana Barbecue Pitmasters as a sanctioning body and making it eligible for people to kind of get on that honor roll and earn those prizes. So it's just something else that kind of helps our smaller organization just grow and try to bring more people in and get more backyard teams and guys that have never competed out to the events and in front of some of the other people. And that's why we're doing a cooking class, and it's specifically kind of for those backyard guys or new people that have never competed before. And just knowing that a company that carries your all's name, recognizes the organization, it goes a long way for us. So even though, it may not seem like a big thing to you guys because there's no, it's not a monetary thing or something that a lot of times people are looking for. I mean, I certainly appreciate it because it even helps us. Just the namesake recognition makes a big difference.
Well, I think partly because I do food sport, I kind of know, we like to recognize people, and we know what barbecue folks are like, and it's something we're all passionate about here. And we realize sometimes it's the little things that mean the most, and so that's why we try to design things so that we can recognize multiple people and multiple teams, and it's exciting when we get a team that has been competing for a couple of years and they share with us sometimes they got their first call or their first place in a category, how excited they are, and much less if they get a GC. It's like,
yeah,
this is excited for them as they probably, sometimes I think I'm more excited for them than what they are.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and like Dave was saying, those stickers, man, it's been something interesting on my journey with this stuff. People go crazy over stickers, and a lot of times, it seems like a little thing, but it goes a long way to a lot of people, and you see those things everywhere now, and it's cool to see those stickers out there and people putting the logos on their banners and that sort of thing. We've got it on ours, and we fly the flag when we go to the events and put the banner up and that sort of thing, and try to rep as much as possible.
It's that camaraderie there too.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about, you get in certain grooves and you do these and you see the Prairie Fresh, or you see, like for us, we're, the Team Royal Oak guys, and it opens the door to go right over and start talking and make, new friends. And we all know that barbecue family is the best you can have. I mean, and it's something you just, to see everybody in the more and more of the product. And with our small group, I think that's what everybody sees too. They see us moving that way. We all keep each other chasing. I mean, our last series was 2019 as well, just like you were talking about the Pie Championship. And, these couple of years has been kind of like trying to regain and, keep some events were falling in and out and coming and going. And now this year it's, like I was saying right before we brought you on, I've got 19 on the schedule right now. So it's your guys' partnership and all that is bigger than Maybe you do know, but I don't know, because there's these little sanctioning bodies all over the country now. And we do take a lot of pride in the namesake, and you guys, it's flattering for sure.
Yeah.
We're glad to do it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Well, man, anything else you want to discuss tonight before we let you go?
Nope. If anyone ever has any questions, it's easy to get a hold of me. You can actually go to our website. We're not so big that if you fill out a form, it actually comes in my inbox. So,
best in the game.
Yeah, I can
Best
attest to
in the game,
that.
it replies.
I've sent one of those honor roll things before, maybe last year, the year before, and I had an error on it, and I just sent an email, and it was a Sunday afternoon, I think, and you replied to it within a few minutes, and I was like, holy shit, it's a weekend. I definitely was not expecting that. So
on Sunday and have an overtime, but you're surprised I'm on here a lot on Sundays. So.
No, for
definitely
sure.
The good kind, man.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate having you on tonight, man, and we know your time's valuable. So we're going to let you go. Everybody that's watching, make sure you follow these guys, Facebook, Instagram, at Prairie Fresh, and
get in your grocery stores, ask for them, get them down there.
Yep, absolutely. Well, buddy, I appreciate everything. You have a good evening. Thanks for joining us, and hopefully we'll have you on here again.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me. Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
See you, man.
Good night, man.
Cool,
what
man.
A cool dude, man. Yeah, I picked up some knowledge. I don't know about you, but there was a lot of good info there.
I thought maybe you could hear the dings leveling up behind me,
Yeah. No, that's great information. Great information for sure. So, man, well,
ready for cake?
I'm ready for cake, man. I've let dinner digest a little bit, settle down. Yeah. Sarah and Willow made me a red velvet with some kind of whipped icing on top of it. It looked amazing. Had some sparkler candles on there. I told her just to put one on there. I didn't want it to melt the cake down with all the candles.
That's your favorite cake, red velvet?
I like a red velvet, yeah. I like a good triple chocolate, but I like red velvet for sure.
You know what I get every year? What they make my favorite cake?
What's that?
It's getting weird, bro. Some red velvet. This year I got a triple chocolate in there.
Shit.
Last year, so
that's awesome.
We're gonna have to get a hold of Griner now and see what his was, just so we can know if it's a thing.
That's right. Yeah, maybe a February 6th thing for sure. So
cool, man.
Yeah. Well, all right. So we've got, let's see where we're at. Like I said at the beginning of the show, we appreciate everybody. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube, please be sure to do that. We're going to try to get these shows on there so that we can do a little bit more of that. I will throw the YouTube link up on the screen so you got it. I'm curious as to where we ended up. I want to check into that while I got everybody on here. Where are we at right now? If my phone will cooperate.
Make sure and check out our partners on the banner below that too. If you haven't liked all those guys on Facebook, Instagram, they're on all the stuff.
Absolutely. So Smoke Bros, they're always there for us. We appreciate it. Prairie Fresh, obviously, Royal Oak, Keith Riles Barbecue, new to the scene this year for us. Master Rental, always there for us. Any competitions we've got for tents and supplies and that sort of thing. Great guys to go to. We are at 51 subscribers on YouTube, so we passed our mark. That is awesome. We certainly appreciate it. And let's see if we picked anybody up in the group. I'm just curious.
Did we get 1,000? Did we hit
995. We're 5 short.
Okay.
We're still 5 short on the Barbecue and Grill Master Syndicate group. So
invite some friends.
Yeah, invite some friends. Number 1,000 is going to get a bottle of something from us.
We'll do Who's Your Daddy, Sweet and Sassy. I'll send that bottle out. You'll love it.
There we go. There we go. So if you haven't had it, now's the time. So yeah, invite some friends for us. Let's grow that. We appreciate everything you guys are doing. Barbecue class, April 8th. Man, we are approaching about half full on that thing. We've had a good week last week and over the weekend, got several entries in. If you've not signed up and you're planning on doing that, now is definitely the time. Get in there before those seats get filled up, because we are definitely closing that down. When we fill that up, we're not going to allow any extra people in there. We want it to kind of be a little bit more intimate thing where everybody can get in, ask questions. We got plenty of time to go through everything with them. Other than that, man, we appreciate it. Appreciate everything. We appreciate you guys watching. We're 10 episodes in. I feel like this was a good birthday episode. A lot of good info. I'm excited for this year, man. Excited.
Yeah, pumped up. Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Well,
go ahead. You ready? You ready to kill it?
Yeah, I was gonna lock it down. Unless you got anything else you want to talk about, man.
Not really. Same old stuff. Just excited, man. So
yeah,
ready to get it going.
I know. We're getting ready to schedule Craig. Go get Craig on here and talk with us. Barbecue Ninja.
Barbecue Ninja.
Yeah, get him in here in the next few weeks. And Jordan, we're gonna have Jordan on. Jordan's doing, I think, 3 events this year. Looks like 2 of them are going to be points events for us. So going to get him on here in the next few weeks and kind of talk about what they got going on and plans and those 3 different events. And then as we get a little bit closer to Bloomfield, we're going to try to have Ryan on here and talk a little bit more about that event. So if you guys have got anybody that you're wanting to see, if you want to get on the show yourself, hey, let us know. Shoot us a direct message or an email. We'll try to get you on here. But otherwise, we appreciate everything. And we will see you guys again next Monday.